So, Robert, Sin City 2, it must be interesting to go back into this dangerous district. This one's even more of a realization of a comic book on the screen than the first one, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, well, I remember the first film. I looked at what we could do with green screen and digital and Frank's book, and I thought, okay, maybe we won't go as far as the book because it might just be too bizarre for audiences. We did about like a half step between the graphic novel and a movie, and people really loved the feel of it. Thought it was very original and great treatment of it. So this time we went ahead and pushed it further towards the book, especially Dame to Kill For. It's more abstract in his drawings and his graphic approach to it. It's just eye-popping. So we thought, if they like that, let's go all the way. So when people say, how did you update the look? It wasn't really to make it different from the first one, but actually closer to the source material than before. And then doing it in 3D, because I just thought that would lend so much better to a graphic novel because of an absence of information. You know, a lot of 3D movies have so much on the screen, you almost don't know where to look. But because his style is so stripped down, and there's so much black, and then there's the actor, and then a few set pieces, and maybe snow, everything would pop a lot more if you did it in 3D and really make you feel like you were in his graphic novel in Sin City.
Yeah, we really wanted to do a use of 3D, which Robert pushed. At first, I resisted, and his point was, we don't have aliens coming out of every closet and spaceships filling the air and dinosaurs coming out of nowhere all the time. We've got your stuff, which is pretty simple, and where the focus can be used in 3D, and so I became convinced, as I usually am, by this guy.
Frank, for you, there's so many things, signature works that you have on the bookshelf. I mean, 300, Dark Knight Returns. I mean, the list goes on and on. Year One, Batman Year One. Where does Sin City fit in among your babies? I mean, this is the one that was like the purest distillation of what you really wanted to do, in a way.
Well, yeah, when I first decided I wanted to do comic books, I was all of 6 years old, and I decided I would do them for the rest of my life. And you know what happened was I grew up on Superboy comics and then Spider-Man and that sort of thing. After a while, they started to seem kind of juvenile to me, and I lost interest. But I kept drawing. But meanwhile, what I was reading were things like Mickey Spillane and Raymond Chandler, and so when the two loves merged into doing crime comics, which I thought was just an absolute natural and would go over big. Moved to New York, was told, go back home. We don't need you. Go pump gas. You know, you're from Vermont. You know, we got no use for you. You're not drawing guys in tights. So I had to learn how to draw guys in tights, and I put them in as many crime situations as I could. And then after working in comics and gaining some notoriety, and then working in Hollywood, I sat down and I decided I would just please myself, and I would do the one comic book that could not possibly be turned into a movie, and it ended up being Sin City. Then this guy shows up.
Jessica, for you to go back to Nancy it's a great experience, I'm sure. In the story, it lets you find her in very new places and very different sort of confrontations this time.
Yeah, I mean, in the first film, she starts off as a little girl, and she's a victim. She was kidnapped, and then later she was tortured, and she gets saved by Bruce Willis's character Hartigan. But then in this one, it picks up after he kills himself. So it's like the love of her life is gone. She's devastated. She's an alcoholic. She's still dancing. She's not happy about it.
Not hardly.
Well, you know, she has costumes now.
Yeah.
Different costumes. But it was cool to be able to take someone, you know, from this like sweet, innocent, naive victim to this very powerful warrior who takes her life in her own hands and you know, gets revenge.
Well, I've got to add that the original working title for Jessica's story was Nancy's last dance. Because she had been the abused victim, she'd been through the ringer, and she had ended up as many women in her situation do, which is an exotic dancer. And this time, she's turns into something quite else. And I've already got her next chapter planned, so please show up for the second movie.